Is this show about stopping an evil alien invasion?
Or is it a trolley problem?
Let's discuss. Okay, so in this episode we found out that I was right.
Yes.
The signal being sent was not the signal spreading off to other planets, was in fact the signal he picked up is how the hive is communicating. So you had some thoughts on.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about the show is that the show kind of acts as a metaphor for many things, and it contains many metaphors. And, you know, if you think of the concept of this communication through the radio waves, you know, the idea that we would say that everybody is on the same wavelength,
right.
you know, and there is this kind of sense of the joined as being almost like cult-like, and you know, and the idea of you can deprogram, there's like sort of some kind of scientific way of disattaching from groupthink,
right?
You know, that can happen, and that you can break the circuit,
right?
Type of thing,
yep.
And it becomes like a scientific problem that he is going to solve,
right? Yes, and he's I guess this kind of something I had written down, and this was driven by some of the comments I have read, which is how science-y is this sci-fi series? I mean, for like the very first episode, I had issues with the way the signal being discovered by the radio astronomers was. That is not the way real radio astronomy works.
No,
it was doing movie, TV show versions of it.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, and I feel like
because there are people getting caught up into like how far away the signal was, and like it's 640 light years, so they would have sent it. It was been the Middle Ages. How would they even know we could pick up the signal? I don't know how much these are interesting points.
Exactly. Well, and I feel that it's kind of trying to look at like the logic of the world building in the show. I mean, the show tells us that it's not really that serious.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have the world building of Waikaro that could easily be retconned to shift and all this sort of. And I think that that's kind of communicating to us that if we're looking for this show Pluribus as a world to be airtight. I just don't think that that's what it's about. In the same way that it's not like about clearly good versus evil. This is a show that's about ethics, and that's why I think it's kind of like a big, complicated trolley problem.
Right.
And for those who don't know about the trolley problem, the classic ethical quandary of you are standing at a train tracks.
Right.
And you know that there's a trolley coming towards you, and if you pull a lever one way, 3 people die, and if you pull a lever the other way, 2 people die.
Right.
Now you're responsible for this moral choice. What you do or what you don't do will probably haunt you for the rest of your life.
And you can do variations. It can be a baby versus the scientists who are going to cure cancer.
And it could be you flick the trolley, you flick a lever, or you push someone in front of the trolley.
Right. People have less problems with the pulling the lever. They have bigger problems with the pushing somebody in the way.
But there's sort of ethical, philosophical questions.
Wait a second. Why can't you just roll off the tracks?
And I feel that is what this show is doing, is that it's opening us up to these philosophical questions about what it means to be an individual, what it means to have a collective, what it means to make decisions, what it means to want to join a group, and what it means to be on the outside, what it means to save the world. What does that even constitute?
Yeah, and I think this, because there's been this general push I've seen all season long with this idea that Karamanusas are the good ones because they're stopping this alien invasion. Yes. Again, flattening it out into good and bad. And I keep thinking, because we've talked so much about authorship and narratives, constructing that. Yeah. My thought there was Carol gives up her time with Zosha and goes back home with the nuclear bomb was, how do we know that this isn't just another fiction, that the saving the world is even possible? In a mystery box type show, which is what I keep calling what we're discussing, the ones that are very dependent on clear cut, no, it is this, there's an answer to this question. On those kind of shows, there would have to be some possible solution just to reverse things, to take things back to the way they were. And I keep thinking that a show that's about characters, that's about how they react, that's this trolley problem, more version of it. In that show, there might not be a solution. No. It might turn out after a season or two of trying out all these experiments and jamming the wave that this is it. Yeah. Everybody who has joined the hive, that's it. They're the hive now. And then the question that is still interesting if you're more interested in characters is how do these characters adapt and react to that?
Exactly. And
do you join the hive? Do you try to blow it all up because you're angry that humanity has changed and it's not the way you wanted it, so I'm going to wipe it all out? Or what? Do you keep fighting for your individuality? There's still a show in that version.
Exactly, and you have this sort of like Manusos, the man with great faith that he can save the world, and he's working towards that. Right. And then you have Carol, who's equally and frustratingly trying to make things work for herself. Yeah. You know, she's the author. She wants to control things, and I think that when they come together, and he's trying to solve the problem, and she's trying to control the chaos in the way that she wants to through creating this fictional world with Zosha, which she's an expert at. She's a fiction writer, for Christ's sake.
You know, romance
exactly.
Stuff, yeah.
And when he comes, he threatens that, and so she literally brings out the big guns. You know, he has his machete, and like his machete, which is, you know, sort of a more surgical tool.
It's
let's
a tool.
say
It's not necessarily a weapon.
It's not necessarily a weapon. We see it being a wonderful tool, an advertisement for MagSafe on the back of your iPhone, of taking it out of the sewer grate, and we have her.
Her shotgun is only a weapon.
It's only a weapon.
It's not a tool,
and it's not a very precise weapon at that.
Right.
You know, and you know, in the same way that the wolves threatened her. Helen, yes, and threatened her beloved. Here comes this guy threatening now her new love interest, and she uses the very same response.
Right.
She takes from her police car a shotgun and shoots at him.
Right.
Yes. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could see this as a metaphor for a range of different things. And I want to talk a little bit about the fantasy world. One of the initial like little things that I thought was clever and I really enjoyed was the importance of pronouns in this show. Like this, in a world where, you know, people are insisting that you know, we only use certain pronouns. The reality is, you know,
well, Carol would be right in there. She's also insisting they use I
instead of we. But the reality is, the preferred pronouns, the pronouns that people use, are in fact important.
Yes.
Because they tell you something about who a person is,
and she's able to live in this delusion precisely because they're giving her
the wrong pronoun.
The
pronoun they
when
don't
she wants
use.
to hear.
Yes.
But yes,
yeah.
she's
So I
able
think
to blind herself to something.
I think that's a little bit that's clever. And then the other thing, I feel that the imaginary relationship between Zosha and Carol, which Carol feels is real, but we know as viewers when we're watching it that it's not. That it is what I have heard be called a back of the bus relationship, which is, you know, like when you're a teenager and you're in the back of the bus and you're always with, you know, the person that you're in the back of the bus with, or if you're at summer camp or whatever, you feel like it's you guys against the world, and that creates a stronger connection because it's just you and them. It's what is played on in every single romance reality show. You take people out of their regular life. You put them in these remarkably romantic scenarios that then people feel that they have this connection. But then as soon as they're taken out of that space, they have a hard time maintaining that kind of closeness. And then of course the episode ends, the series ends with Carol coming back to Manusos with an atom bomb.
Correct.
And the size of the atom bomb is not, you know, the kind of nuclear weapon that we see.
It's not an ICBM.
No, I don't know what that is, but whatever.
Intercontinental Continental ballistic missile.
Okay, thank you.
The ones that they have to bury underground, and you see when nukes get launched in movies and the giant rocket shoots out of the ground, that's an ICBM.
Okay, learn something new every day.
There you go.
So it's more of the kind of atom bomb from World War II.
Correct.
Yes,
Yep.
like the one that was dropped from the Enola Gay,
It's the kind of thing that you drop from a bomber.
Yes, from a bomber.
Yeah.
Destroyed Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and I do think that, again, this is pushing us in a direction of how do you treat this program? How do you treat these kinds of philosophical questions? I mean, in the same way that dropping those bombs has been a consistent source of discussion and argumentation since it happened.
Right.
Was that necessary? Was it not necessary? Would something else have been better? And we have no way of clearly discerning who is right. We can't. And I think that Pluribus is a program that is pushing that at us and is challenging us to have conversations about it, but not come to conclusions.
Right.
And so who cares whether we have to wait a year or more?
It's going to be like 2 years.
2 years to watch this show. Right. It's saying, why don't we have more conversations about things where we don't have specific endings in mind or specific solutions in mind?
Right.
Why don't we keep having conversations? Because when we're having conversations, we can be having conversations about really important things like, what does it mean to be an individual within society? What does it mean to accept other people's individuality? What does it mean to engage with culture? What does it mean when we force people to assimilate into certain cultures, or we ourselves are assimilated? So I think that's what ends up, to me, being the message of this series.
No, you're wrong. They're aliens. They're evil, and they must be stopped at all cost.
And with that,
but maybe we'll have more discussions
yeah.
on Pluribus. Maybe a look at the whole show, that first season as a whole, as a text.
Yes, as a
complete.
text.
Any other thoughts that we might have? Because I have got a bunch of things that we've never gotten to in these videos. So maybe there are more discussions to be had on Pluribus.
Not just hot takes.
Coming up. Definitely not hot takes. So if you're watching this on Not Another Gen X Guy, know that we have an official channel, Aaron Explains Stuff, which has more videos and things on it. So check it out if you're interested. Okay.